also went on to say, I own this land and I am going to keep it. Okay? What it is, what it ain't, it's your girl Umbrella, and I am back with another video. This video is the video of all videos. If you haven't watched any of my videos, you have to watch this one, okay? It is complete fire. I am so excited to be doing this video, to be sharing this knowledge with you guys. I'm learning this for the first time, and I don't know if you guys have heard about this story, but I have to put this on my channel. This is like the type of video ideas that I get, that I learn about, that I love to share, that I love to talk about. This is kind of what my channel is all about in a video. Like this story is so interesting, okay? Before we get into this, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Before I even get started, like, oh my god, like, I'm so excited to talk about this. But before we get started, make sure that you're following along and you subscribe to this channel, because you don't want to miss the future videos. This video, I'm trying to tell y'all, like, this video is it cannot be slept on. Like, if you guys were interested, y'all loved, first of all, y'all love the Frankie Lyman videos that I did, but this video right here, this one and the next one, because this is going to be part 1, okay? This is part 1 of a part 2 video. I'm not playing. Like, this story is so juicy that I gotta split up everything, because it's a lot of information. It's a lot. Okay, so if you're ready, make sure that you're liking, you're commenting, you're following along, and you subscribe to this channel, okay? So you can know what's going on, what it is and what it ain't. That's what Umbrella is all about. I'm telling you what it is and what it ain't, okay? So in this part 1 video, I am going to be talking about the history of the Bruce family and the Bruce Beach, okay? So you might want to stay tuned, because this I can't even, I gotta stop saying that. I gotta just start telling y'all what it is, what it ain't. Okay, so I saw this story on Hollywood Unlocked, and I was completely thrown back, especially when I seen, like, the descendants of a black family is getting their land back. I was like, what? Getting their land back? Okay, I mean, I'm thinking, I got so many ideas about that just flying in my head, like, getting their land back. Like, damn, they know what land they had, and I'm just thinking about all of this other stuff. Okay, so of course I read the little clip on Hollywood Unlocked, but I'm like, oh, this is what I do. So I had to look it up and find further information. And when I tell y'all, I got a lot of information on this topic. Okay? Hence the reference to the part 1, part 2 video. All right? So in this part 1, I'm going to be giving you the history behind the family. I'm going to be sharing with you an article about the resort, because it is like a beachfront resort. So I'm going to be sharing photos. I'm going to be sharing the article. I'm going to be talking deeper about how I feel about this. And we're just going to get it started. So Charles and Willa Bruce, they owned a beach resort in 1912. So Willa Bruce, she bought the land for $1,225, and it was worth 2 lots of land that stretched from 26th Street to 27th Street, right? In California, okay? Manhattan, Manhattan Beach, California. That's what we're talking about. So Willa Bruce, she bought the land. She had a lodge there. She had, a section set up for people to buy soda. She had a section set up for people to buy lunch. The lodge was like a house that people could just chill in. It was like a weekend getaway for black people, She set up, once she bought the land, she set everything up so that a lot of black people could come through and enjoy the beach and have some time to themselves, and just to be, secluded. And we're talking about 1912, okay? So Jim Crow laws was thick as a mug. So, there was a lot of racism going on back then. Especially during Jim Crow times in the 1900s. It's the early 1900s, 1912, okay? So So Willa Bruce, she bought the land. Her husband was actually a chef on a train that traveled from Salt Lake City to LA. So he came back and forth and he was helping. And also, not only was this land, this which became known as Bruce Beach, because of, you know, how pleasant it was for black people to come and just chill, relax, enjoy the beach, not have to worry about nothing. This was an area in which black people thrived. So it not only became a piece of black land, but it also became a piece of a black community. So the Bruce family quickly helped grow this entire area to black people. So not only did people come there to chill, to relax, and have a good time with their families, but they also were inspired by the Bruce family to actually make their own businesses and open their own cottages in that area so that they could grow further and, you know, expand their businesses and their wealth. So yes, we're talking about black excellence in the 1900s, okay? To spoil this good thing that was happening for black people, a lot of the racist white people that lived around the surrounding area of this community, they, you know, implemented policies and laws that prevented Willa and Charles from really expanding their resort and, you know, like making it enjoyable to black people. So there was policies put in place. There was tires being slashed. There was 1 hour parking restrictions. There were in the article that I'm going to get into, there's harassment with the police. There was people were the KKK was harassing the whole community and lighting people's businesses on fire and people's houses on fire. So it was just a lot of chaos, you know, that quickly happened. And Willa Bruce said in her own words, you know, that she owns the land and she planned on keeping it. You know, she like, I'm not going nowhere. I bought it. It's mine. Y'all need to back off, basically. It was harassment from 1912, from the time that they opened the place, to the 1920s. And this harassment led to the city actually condemning the neighborhood in 1924. They seized the land, all of it, everything that Charles and Willa owned, as well as the other black families in the community. They seized the land, they took all the properties, and they said that the government needed to put an urgent need for a public park right there in that land area. So which is just ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? You could tell like they came up with any excuse to take the land away from them because, you know, none of their threats were working. It was people, the KKK was coming through the community. It was people lighting the houses on fire. They were slashing the tires and coming up with all of these, you know, ridiculous schemes and crimes against the black community just to get them to get out the area, which is crazy, but it didn't work, you know. So you can't stop the blacks, you know what I'm saying? You can't stop us. We like undefeatable. Like, are you dumb? Like, come on now. So it wasn't working. So when that didn't work, they went above the police and all of that, and they went to the government, and the government actually seized the land from them, taking Charles and Willa's hard work and their American dream, just ripping it away from them for no reason. I really think the history of this situation is very important. I feel like if you can understand the history behind it, then you can understand what's happening in today's time. So now we're going to get to an article that I found from June 27th, 1912. So there's a bunch of shade and there's terrible, terrible racist language. So bear with me, okay? The article is called, and I'll put it up here so you guys can see. I know it's a little distorted. Well, it's not distorted, but it's like you got to look real close to see it. So I recommend y'all like just look real close at this article right here. So I'm going to put it up. And basically it says Color People's Resorts. This is the title of of the damn newspaper article. It says colored people's resort meets with opposition. So right away, I had to stop right there. I read this article already, but reading it over again, I was like, I was just looking at the title specifically, and I was like, it's a opposition. Like, I think that's like, it's no coincidence that it says opposition. And in today's culture, in today's black society or whatever, especially in rap and in R&B, like a lot of songs that you hear, we say ops, and basically it means like our enemies, our ops, opposition. It's short for opposition, but basically it means enemies. So it's like if you read it over and just replace the word with enemies, like it just means, you know, it just, I mean, it's just it's not a coincidence that's just, it is what it is. It says colored people's, I read it over as colored people's resort meets with enemies, basically. So it's like, you the ops. Colored people's resort meets with ops, basically. Y'all the feds, y'all the pigs, y'all are the ops, y'all the enemies. Okay, so right in the beginning of the sentence of the first, the first sentence of the article says small resort. Okay, like, listen, we not about to do this. First of all, Willa paid $1,225 for this entire land. That was a lot of money for her to pay back then in 1912. They charged the shit out of, excuse my language, they charged the hell out of Willa because she was a black woman. They charged the shit out of her as far as owning this land. And like, I understand like her not wanting to give it up. Why would she if she paid all that money? Especially, we're talking about the 1900s. $1,000 is like $1 million back then. Are you joking? Let's not do that. But anyway, there was tons of subliminal shade, especially calling the resort small and talking about, it was a small portable cottage and it was a small resort. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. It's the community. You know what I'm saying? It's the fact that she actually owned the land. That's the part that they omitted from that. She owns this part of real estate. This is her real estate. This is Charles and Willa's real estate. You can't throw shade on something that somebody owns. Like, so as you can see, I'm getting a little spicy because it was making me mad, like, just reading this. So they called her, okay, this is the part that really lit me on fire. They call her Dusky. D-U-S-K-Y. I have never heard of that before. So of course I looked it up because I gotta be educational. So I looked it up, and it means, Dusky means darkish in color, used in emphatic reference to black or other dark-skinned people. Basically, it's the N-word, but it says Dusky. Like, who says that? Who says that? I have never heard of that in my life, and that is so racist. Like, all throughout this article, it's just racist innuendos. So it's Dusky, meaning she's darkish in color, and a proprietor is an owner of a business. So they called her a dark in color business owner. And then they went further to talk about the other black people that were enjoying themselves at the beach that day. And they go in to say that they're pleasure seekers. Like, who isn't a pleasure seeker? Like, it sounds like they're trying to say like Jezebels or something like that. Like, why are they trying to make it seem like it's not right for them to be at the beach? Like they're just like they're animals or something. I don't like that. And then they went on to say bathers, like they're actually taking a bath in the ocean. They're trying to make it sound disgusting to their own community or their own race that black people are in the ocean having a good time. And then they go on to say that George H. Peck is an owner of some of the land that was surrounding the land that Willa and Bruce owned. And we're basically saying that they were like the black people that wanted to go swimming that day were trespassing on his property because they had to walk past his property to get to the beach. Are you serious? Like, y'all really that petty? They walked a half a mile past his property to get to the beach. The only person that owns the beach is God, okay? Let's stop doing this. Let's stop, okay? So they're insinuating, the newspaper is insinuating that they're trespassing on someone else's property to get to the beach. They also said something like collude, C-U-L-L-U-D, which means I dialect of color. Why are you, what? Why are you doing this? Like, why are you using all of these different words to basically say a black person? Like, are you kidding me? Like, these are words I've never even heard of before. Like, we heard the N-word. We heard, of course, we've heard the N-word. We've heard colored. You know what I'm saying? And now we're hearing this. Oh, my God. Then they go on to say negress. Like a Negro and a Miss slammed together. Negro and Miss slammed together. Basically, that's negress. Making it sound like she's an animal, but she's a female animal. Black person. So they call her negress, and it's just all of these words just, you know, it's just not cool. Just really, really bad. Willa Bruce actually goes on to say Negroes cannot have bathing privileges at any of the bathhouses along the coast, and all they deserve is a little resort of their own to which they might go and enjoy the ocean, which is facts. Like, why can't they have their own little section, you know, VIP section or whatever, so they can have fun? Like, why do the white people always gotta have fun and we gotta be miserable as hell? Like, that don't even make sense. She also went on to say, I own this land and I am going to keep it. Okay? So, yeah, I just want to give y'all a little bit of background and highlights on this topic on Willa and Charles Bruce. Make sure you tune in for part 2. You don't want to miss out what's going on. Will the descendants of Charles and Willa get the land? You'll find out in part 2. This is Ombre Alert. Make sure you like, comment below, and subscribe to this channel. I'll see y'all in part 2. Bye.